Good morning and welcome to 10-Minute English Cafe. It is Friday, July 3rd, 2026.
Happy Friday!
I almost judged this cafe by the line outside, but then the staff smiled and remembered my order. That small moment changed the whole wait for you.
It did. My coffee was still late, but my mood did not file a complaint.
That gives us today's keyword, service, spelled S-E-R-V-I-C-E.
Service is funny. When it's good, I relax. When it's bad, I suddenly become a detective with a receipt.
Exactly. Service is not only the product, it's the wait, the price, the help, and the feeling after you leave. And sometimes the little voice in your head saying, "Why is this so complicated?" Today we look at 3 business stories through that customer lens. I'm keeping my receipt and my emotional support pastry. First, U.S. consumers are frustrated with record profits and terrible service. That sounds like every support chat where the bot says, "I understand," and clearly does not. Then we look at why back-to-school deals are already appearing so early. My calendar is still in beach mode, but the stores are already holding notebooks. And finally, KFC is testing a new restaurant style with more hospitality. Fast food with chairs that say, "Please stay a minute?" I'm listening. Before we begin, if you're new here, we turn real news into natural English conversation every day, with words you can use when you talk about stores, restaurants, prices, and everyday frustration. If that helps your listening practice, please subscribe and join us for 10 minutes. Let's talk about what makes service feel worth it. Our first story comes from The Guardian and focuses on U.S. consumers.
I can already hear someone saying, "Can I speak to a real person?"
The story points to a sharp mismatch. Companies are making strong profits, but many customers feel service is getting worse.
That mismatch is what stings. If a company is doing well, why am I stuck in a phone menu pressing 3, then 5, then my own patience?
Exactly. One useful phrase is customer satisfaction.
That means how happy customers feel after dealing with a product, a service, or a company.
Right. And when customer satisfaction falls, people remember the whole process, not just the product.
Like when the product is fine, but the help page sends you in circles until you start bargaining with a chatbot.
Another phrase is junk fees.
Those are extra charges that feel unnecessary or hidden, especially at the last payment screen.
Yes, a fee can feel small by itself, but surprise fees make the total feel less honest.
That last screen is dangerous. You think, I came here to buy one thing. Why did 3 tiny fees join the party?
The Guardian also mentions surveillance pricing.
Surveillance pricing? That sounds serious. What does that mean?
It describes pricing that may use personal data or customer behavior to shape what someone is charged. So if I look interested, shop late at night, or compare a lot, the price might feel like it's looking back at me. Exactly. That feeling can damage trust quickly. I also like the phrase tipping point. A tipping point is the moment when pressure becomes strong enough to cause a bigger change. Like when one hidden fee is annoying, but the 5th hidden fee makes people talk about rules. Right. Consumer groups and local governments are pushing back in areas like fees and broadband. So this is not only a mood, it's becoming action. Yes, customers may accept friction for a while, but they notice when the friction becomes the business model. Especially when the bill needs a flashlight, a map, and maybe a snack. Our second story moves from frustration to retail timing.
I am still emotionally in summer, so back to school sounds early.
The Wall Street Journal reported that back-to-school deals are already appearing. My phone hears that and says, "Would you like 3 notifications about pencils?" Yes, It describes the shopping season for school supplies, clothes, electronics, and dorm items.
So it's not just one shopping day, it's a whole season arriving before my summer brain is ready.
Exactly. Retailers are trying to reach customers earlier than usual.
Why so early?
The Wall Street Journal points to inflation, longer sale calendars, and summer events like Prime Day. That makes sense. If prices feel high, families may want more time to compare, plan, and not buy everything in one stressful weekend. Right. A useful phrase here is stock up. That means to buy enough before you need it, like putting notebooks in the cart before the first school reminder arrives. Exactly. Another phrase is ahead of time. Planning early is helpful. Too far ahead of time feels like the store is standing behind my calendar. Yes, from the retailer side, early deals can pull demand forward. In other words, people buy earlier than they normally would. Exactly. That's a kind of service pressure. Because the store is saying, we know you're worried about prices, so start now. And my cart says, do we have a budget meeting? That's the tension. Early deals can help people spread out costs, but they can also add noise. Exactly. Sometimes it feels kind, sometimes it feels like a calendar shouting at you through a sale banner. Our final story brings service into the restaurant space. Good. After fees and school supplies, I am ready for something with chairs and sauce. All Recipes reported that KFC is preparing a new test restaurant called Open House. Open House sounds more welcoming than a normal fast food counter. That is the point. The prototype is planned for McKinney, Texas. Prototype means an early test version, right? Exactly. A prototype lets a company try a new idea before rolling it out widely. So we should not assume every KFC will look like this. Correct. The All Recipes article says the new format keeps drive-through and takeout, but adds table service. So I can still use the drive-through, but inside there may be more of a sit-down, we'll bring it over feeling. Right. The company is also trying to increase hospitality. Hospitality is the feeling of being welcomed and taken care of. Exactly. And that's interesting because fast food often focuses on speed. Speed is service, but if my tray arrives with a little care, I might forgive the extra minute. That's very Lisa, and it gets to the point. A brand refresh can change design, menu, service style, or the overall feeling of a brand. So the restaurant isn't just selling chicken, it's testing whether the place can feel warmer without losing the fast food rhythm. Yes, and that connects back to our first story. Customers notice when service feels thin. Even the chair, the tray, and the wait for chicken become part of the story. Exactly. A new prototype is one way to answer that pressure before rolling the idea out widely. The hard part is making it feel real, not like someone added a plant and called it hospitality. Today's key word was service, and it showed up in places you can actually feel. In the first story, service was in the support chat, the phone menu, and the surprise fees. That is the part where your shoulders go up before you even finish paying. In the second story, service was in timing. Early deals can help families plan, but they can also rush them. Helpful service says, here is time. Pushy service says, your summer is over, buy notebooks. And at KFC, a new restaurant prototype showed how companies can redesign service through space and hospitality. A better chair won't fix everything, but the feeling of a place stays with people. So here's today's question. Which service pressure stood out to you? Option A is record profits with worse customer service. Option B is back-to-school deals arriving early. Option C is KFC testing a new restaurant experience. Tell us in the comments. Take today's word with you. Service is not just what a company gives you, it's how the whole experience feels. And customers remember that feeling, especially if they kept the receipt. If this conversation helped your English, please like, subscribe, and come back tomorrow. Have a good Friday, and may your service be clear, kind, and not full of surprise fees.